Hello and welcome back. This is episode 3 of the Maps Lua app, in which we look at the GPS triangle racing for gliders section of the app. I'm not going to teach you about GPS triangle racing, only how to set it up on this Lua app. Using the map generator website, press the Add Triangle button down here on the left. Then click on the map to place the midpoint of the base leg of the triangle. You can adjust the size and the heading of the triangle. Down here, see, we could change it to be a much bigger one, and you can rotate the heading. But do not worry about getting this absolutely right. At the airfield, you can use the app on the transmitter to change the location, the rotation, and the size of the triangle, and those changes are made per model. So at the same airfield, different gliders can have different triangles to suit them. I like to put the triangle at a location and orientation that is most likely to be used. It means the least adjustment in the app. As always, when you've finished, press Save All to File, and then press Create Jeti Repository. And remember to use Jeti Studio to load the latest changes to your transmitter. Now we will look at the triangle racing settings in the app. You must check in Telemetry Sensor that all boxes are filled in. GPS racing has to know your speed and height to enable a valid flight start and to check that your racing start is valid or calculate penalty points. For altitude, GPS racing uses GPS absolute altitude minus the field elevation, and the app gets the field elevation from the Google map. GPS racing does not use relative altitude, which is set to 0 when you switch on the radio. If you have to manually select telemetry parameters for the boxes, make sure you choose absolute altitude and not relative altitude. Now the race parameters menu. Enable triangle race course defaults to off. If you want to use racing, just switch this on by highlighting it and pressing the program dial. Next, select a switch to tell the app that you are ready to start a race. If your glider is behind the start line, the transmitter will then announce ready to start and give you the pre-race announcements. If you're on the wrong side of the start line, it will tell you and it will not give you pre-race announcements. You have to then fly behind the start line and toggle the start switch off and on to get it to start. Selecting a switch is made in this unusual way because this persists through updates of the Lua app. Jeti has not allowed Lua switch selections made in the normal way to survive an update of the app. Choose a switch for announcements. This covers both the pre-race and the race announcements. An example of why you would want to switch off the announcements is during a race you find a thermal and need to work it. You can switch off the steering announcements whilst you go thermaling, then switch them back on again when you're ready to continue the lap. Race time explains itself. Max start speed and max start altitude set the maximum energy level allowed as you cross the start line. You would set these as per the rules of the different classes in official GPS racing, or set them to suit your own little glider's needs. Flight start speed and flight start altitude just determine when the app's decided you've started a qualifying flight. There should not be any need to change them. Shortly after launching your glider, the app will tell you flight started as the glider has passed the speed and altitude. The racing pre-announce and announce sequence let you control what information is spoken to you and in what sequence when you have the announcement switch in the on position. Press the programming dial to enter each one. Pre-race is what you will be told before you cross the start line. Your choices are just altitude or speed or both, because getting them right as you cross the line is what will avoid or get you penalty points. The sequence has many slots for announcements, but we recommend timings based on 7 slots, and you put the relevant letter in the slot or a minus sign to keep the slot empty. The list shows what letters are available and what they mean. Using a capital letter means the app will speak extended descriptions of the number it is telling you. Using a lowercase letter means the app will speak the bare minimum description of the number it is telling you. I recommend using the lowercase to avoid information overload in all of the voice output. The default lowercase letter S, pause, lowercase letter A, will speak to you something like speed 30, height 70. Then there will be a longer pause, and then it will repeat it. If you amend it, do remember to put some minus signs back in if you want a slight pause between the end of the announcement sequence and the start of the next repetition. In racing announce sequence, the same rules apply. I find that C, pause, D, pause, P, then 2 more pauses works best for me. P is the perpendicular distance from the triangle and is very helpful for understanding how far inside or outside you are from the leg that you are trying to fly. The course correction telling you how much to turn left or right can be quite wrong if you've just turned a pylon or are going slowly into wind, as the app has very poor position data on which to calculate your current track over the ground, but the perpendicular inside or outside announcement distance is accurate. You do it like this, backspace, one more. Oh, we'll leave that one in there, my error, keep that one, then a P, and then give myself a couple of little pauses before it starts the sequence again. Okay, you might, for example, be told to turn left, but also be told you are inside by some distance, or told to turn right and also be told you're outside. I always believe the perpendicular inside or outside announcement if there's a conflict with the course correction announcement. Also, I always disregard any course correction that is announced immediately after a pylon turn, because part of its calculation of the direction the model is travelling includes locations during or even before the turn, and so it can give you some very faulty course corrections. You'll soon learn to recognise and ignore them. Okay, on to the triangle parameters. Here you can adjust the size, location and orientation of the triangle manually moving the numbers, but there is an easier visual way to do this. But it only works when you're at the airfield with the radio switched on and the system has recognized that you are at that field. You would go to Map Browser, choose your field, press Show. If you're at the field with the radio switched on, it should probably have chosen it anyway. We'll zoom in. Here's the triangle we created earlier on the map generation website. Now, if we were actually live at the airfield with the radio switched on, letters will appear in this box. First of all, a letter X. And if you press the button below here, it would change to the letter Y. Press it again, it would change to the letter R. Press it again, change to the letter L. Then using the programming dial, you could adjust each of these parameters of the triangle in turn, and you'd see the effect live on the screen. When X is showing, X means in the X-axis. Y, meaning the Y-axis, up and down. R would be the rotation of the triangle, and L its length, i.e. from the midpoint of the base leg out to the first point. By simply selecting the correct X, Y, R or L by toggling through this button, you can then rotate the programming dial left or right to change the position, orientation and size of the triangle. You'll notice a string of numbers across the top of the screen. From the left, these are the total race time, the current lap time, the last lap time, average speed for the lap, and average speed for the last lap. And that's it. Dave and I hope you have great fun with the app, as I have done over this last year, as well as getting seriously good help with things like the no-fly zones. Do tell us in the comments below if you enjoy the app, and click this link in the lower left corner of the video to subscribe to my channel with hundreds of training videos about the Jeti training system. Have fun with the app, and bye for now.